Role model. A person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. Sure, some INFJs would agree that they're far from the ideal human. However, with an accumulation of innate traits that make them beyond honest, caring, and hardworking, they may be more of a role model to others than they think, despite feeling inadequate at times. Welcome, or welcome back, psychos! Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it, starting with number 1. They respect people's time and energy. Punctuality, returning favors, and everyday kind gestures are the unspoken expectations of most humans in the world. However, if you were to expect this from everyone you meet, you'd soon find yourself disappointed in just how little respect people have for one another. This is something the INFJ tends to intuitively express, despite their thoughtfulness rarely being returned. Simple acts such as showing up on time, holding the door open for someone behind them, letting someone in traffic, and taking mental note as to who they owe a favor or two for sets the tone for that much-needed respect that seems to be lacking. All they ask is that it's acknowledged, and in that, hopefully encourages someone to see the volumes the simplest acts of considerations can speak. Number 2. They are extremely self-aware in their actions. Considering the INFJ is a naturally self-reflecting type who holds extremely high standards for themselves, they naturally lead by example, whether they like it or not. INFJs understand that nobody can change for the better if they stay blind to what needs to be changed. And so, by avoiding resorting to pointing fingers and pushing blame, they've become accustomed to retracting and ruminating about how their decisions played a part. Of course, living in a world built on corporations that have their fair share of blame and lack of owning up, this quality can make all the difference for people looking for a positive example. Number 3. They prioritize inner growth. There's no way around the INFJ's awareness when it comes to not only their own personal growth. However, it's not only for themselves that they encourage this crucial mental health component. The INFJ actually admires the concept of personal growth as a whole, for the people they love and really for anyone they meet, especially regarding those who look to them for direction, advice, or sympathy. And so, when it comes to being a role model figure, this INFJ characteristic becomes beneficial in more ways than one. Not only do people look at their self-improvement priority and feel inspired, but the people in an INFJ's life know they can turn to them for honest advice regarding their own elevation. In fact, if INFJs knew just how much they encourage others to take a deeper look into who they are and where they can improve their lives for the sake of their own happiness, they would be taken aback by just how much of an impact they make. Number 4. They make it a point to utilize every angle of the bigger picture. INFJs are natural experts when it comes to synthesizing information through details and past experiences to create a bigger, more complex picture. They see all aspects of life as interconnected, and yet they also understand how the simplest of details can change the entire course of an outcome. And so, they avoid jumping to conclusions or taking one-sided opinions without first filling in all the missing details. They avoid getting caught up in the he said, she said gossip and pointless disagreements that make up so much of today's conversations. Instead, the INFJ tends to be more focused on how they can connect people and ideas, how they can properly encourage others to change their negative point of view, and ultimately facilitate harmony within the situation at hand. And in a world of conclusion jumping, this approach can encourage others to steer clear of getting caught up in the mix. Number 5. They don't look up to less than humble role models themselves. Marching to the beat of their own drum is an uncompromisable need of every INFJ. By unintentionally paying little mind to the social expectations that have been set out for them by societal constructs and pushed role models. While others are inclined to fall for looking up to the people made apparent through fame and fortune, INFJs are far less willing to fall for the mirage. Without substance and proof of humility, there's no one the INFJ would look to as a role model just for the sake of talent. Since they're not stuck on tradition and following the crowd, it's fair to say that most INFJs would never blindly follow something or someone just for the sake of fitting in. Everyone they listen to, follow, or even try to be like is due to them seeing something they value. Something deeper than the car they drive or the mansion they live in. Number 6. They rarely cut corners. Despite their at times procrastination tendencies, there's no doubt that INFJs love value and truly appreciate when things are done right. They're not keen on taking the easy way out, skipping out on the minor details, or turning a blind eye on the crucial components of a personal project, hobby, or relationship. They take their time, they think through decisions, and they try and predict which approaches are most appropriate. While this can seem too time-consuming to some people who may even end up growing impatient at this approach, it shows that rushing and leaving out the significant details can often lead to unnecessary panic. This balance of perfectionism and quality that all INFJs possess in their day-to-day lives do come with their challenges, but likely, these aren't apparent to the outer world. Instead, they're seen as productive and motivated. Two characteristics people could benefit from having an inspiration to follow. Number 7. They value self-care over competition. INFJs may be considered perfectionistic at times, but there's no doubt they value periods of rest and recharge when needed. Considered a privilege in most cases, taking time for self-care is almost taboo in today's day and age. However, since INFJs are known for their deep need of solitude, caring for themselves comes as a second nature. Actually, their self-care tendencies don't stop there. As a matter of fact, INFJs utilize the power of self-reflection as a form of checking in with their mental health and have a hesitancy towards encouraging the concept of working relentlessly. Contradictory, INFJs may have their times of all work, no play, but they never set that as a standard as some other personality types tend to do. They always encourage the concept of there being more to life than deadlines and competition. While this may all be in an attempt to avoid burnout, they lead by example, by showing the people around them that it's not necessary to run oneself into the ground to achieve a little satisfaction in life. Number 8. They plan when necessary and surrender when appropriate. Any good role model requires a good set of natural planning skills. There's no point in looking up to someone who has no clue as to who they are and where they're headed. And while most INFJs would probably agree that they're always somewhat lost in life, their future-focused optimism allows them to play around with potential future endeavors. INFJs are natural strategic planners in their everyday lives and rarely feel at ease when they begin living life by repetition and autopilot mode, which so many people fall victim to. In fact, besides the fact that most INFJs rely on to-do lists and future-oriented goals, they also have the knack for sifting out potential dead ends, unnecessary uses of time, and unideal outcomes, making planning all that more specific and particular. By using past lessons appropriately, it's as if they have the ability to form plans of action while ensuring they properly balance their idealism. This allows them to make goals that are attainable in a way that encourages growth rather than expecting and demanding immediate perfection, a crucial step that most people tend to overlook. Number 9. They believe purpose is more valuable than profit. They say money rules the world, and there's certainly some truth behind it. However, the better observation is that the world is filled with corruption, toxic competition, and hatred because of it. When money is the only driving force behind the directions taken in life, you can bet happiness will slowly dwindle. INFJs know this firsthand. In fact, most times they avoid the motive of money entirely, despite needing the necessary resources to stay afloat. Purpose and meaning is at the forefront of everything the INFJ does, and every decision they make. INFJs want their waking hours to count by contributing to a grander cause than simply receiving a paycheck. They don't allow greed or ego to take over their goals in life, and that alone is a lesson many could learn from. If everyone followed the INFJ's lack of importance they place on materialism, it's fair to say the world would be a much kinder, creative, and safe place. Number 10. They refuse to stroke others' egos. Speaking of ego, INFJs see right through the oh-so-common ego-based corruption in today's world. Yet, not only can they easily identify it, they avoid playing into it at all costs. Despite their perceived people-pleasing nature, no matter how much they would benefit from a specific connection built on an egoistic foundation, they will take their business elsewhere. This is exactly what so many people lack the confidence and self-respect to do. They don't relate to the need for power over others, or the need to attain an inflated sense of self-worth rooted in egoistic motives. Not only does this moral high ground set out a good example for people who give in to others' need for self-importance, but it also shows the inflated, egoistic individuals themselves that they're nothing without others' approval. They humble them through their disinterest, and hopefully give them the understanding that people can see right through their toxic approach. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, would you say the INFJ is an ideal role model according to these 10 reasons? Let us know why or why not in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.